Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Hey, JB, Joe. It's going to be a bit of a slow week, and we have a gap. So it's probably going to be a quick session this morning as we go into Christmas. So overnight inventory is 100% long. Welcome to the folks on YouTube. Already got a question here. What are my thoughts on Al Brooks? I think he's a great actor and a very funny comedic actor. Avalon, hope you have a good day. Hey Yoder, what's going on? Hey Worm, how you doing? Alrighty. Okay, so uh, this one I didn't see coming. I didn't see a gap up, and yeah, it's a gap up. Very tight profile distribution, um, and I think I've got a decent balance zone, which pretty much is the entire range if you go look at it. So our previous day high is up here. Just under 68.96. And yeah, how many of you are trading this? Let's see what your situational awareness is like. Who's out there trading this? No. That's good, Joe. That's good. That's smart. Yeah. Pretty much most of the intelligent sort of money traders are done. Um, it's going to be basically table scraps for the rest of you if you are trading this. And as you can see, it's very choppy, very tight. You have a gap, and no one's going to want to buy a gap with size unless they're forced to because they're short covering. So that's really the only thing that's holding this thing up. And that's pretty much about it. I don't really know what else to say. Um, we're going to do a shortened session today. And if it's like this tomorrow, it'll be a shortened session as well. Um, unless you guys have questions, what I wanted to do was just to open it up, make sure you guys were sort of taken care of on what to look at. So I've got a balance or a cost basis between 69.03 and 9.25, and Now we're going to take everything that we bought under 69.07 and sell it at 9 until we run out of buyers, then it'll come back down. Now, between 68.95 and 6900, that's where your bids are here. So on any kind of correction, you'll want to be looking for that's where your bids will be, right? In that gap. So yeah, lower stops, overnight point of control, overnight highs up here. Really not much to do, folks, right? Hey, Dan. Yeah, weekend was good. Let's see if we get a correction down to 8, under 9.25. There's really nothing to do here. You can even see on the 1 minute chart, it's got had a little gap. It filled it. Little dead spot in the order book. We backfilled that. You guys have any questions? And your overnight range is, gosh, it's tiny. You get on the 11-point range. There's not a lot of meat on the bone, right? Well, Joe, what you could use a cost basis from a previous day, but to what end? Like, what are you going to do with it? That's the thing. You could, but like, what are you going to do with it? You're going to have to wait until it breaks back down into that cost basis. If that makes sense. Your cost basis, you can tell, is at 68.87 from Friday. Now, okay, Joe. So when you see, okay, I'll talk about this. And are you familiar with the term situational awareness? Reading the room, knowing kind of the situation you're in. Okay. So when you go in and you look at a chart, right? So for me, after 34 years in the business, when I look at a chart, I automatically know not to trade this. So I'm not going to be sitting there looking at the chart for hours and hours and hours and trying to figure out a trade. Does that make sense? So it's like any way you cut this, it's not going to give you an edge. You also have to look at timing, right? So today is the 22nd. Christmas is in a few days. People are winding down their business before the holiday, right? So that means that opportunity will be less for you. Does that make sense? Okay. So when you have a 10, 11 point range in a market profile or, in a trading day, you don't have a lot of opportunity. The range creates your opportunity if you're a retail trader. So if you've got 11 points and it's really choppy, how are you going to make money? how you're going to make money is by not losing any money, which means you really shouldn't be trading this. Does that make sense? Does everybody kind of understand what I'm talking about? Okay. Yeah, it's like if you were a surfer and the waves were not even a foot high and the ocean was flat, there's really nothing for you to do. It's just one of those facts of life, you know? You're a couple of days away for Christmas. Um, Thursday is Christmas Day, right? There might be some opportunity later on, like closer to RTH, if we get any kind of extension of the range. But right now, oof, pretty brutal. This is the, let me put it to you in a nutshell. Um, if this is the first time in 3 years that I've worked this week because we decided to stay in town for Christmas. Otherwise, last year I wasn't running any streams last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. I just there was no reason to actually be on stream, right? Right. So I'll explain responsive and initiative buying. Harris, no matter the more experience you get, the less you will trade. Right. So the more experienced people will look at this and go, "This is not. There's no prediction." Right. In a thin range because also it's the order flow is not predictable. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're selling sunglasses and it's raining. Do you guys understand? It's been very, very hard expressing and getting you guys to understand something very, very simple. If a range is 11 points, how are you going to make money in it? And if it moves a point every hour? Does that make sense, Harris? Okay. Let's get to responsive and initiative buying, right? Okay. Responsive and initiative buying, right, are a concept it's kind of an old concept. Initiative buying is, say I'm a fund manager and I'm buying a position of 5 million shares of Microsoft. I am going to initiate a position. Responsive buying is when you get to an area where the shorts are trapped and they'll come in and buy. Most of the buying in this market is responsive buying. Who's trading this at this time? The wholesalers who have to. Basically, computers. You guys are the only ones that are up trying to poke at this thing, right? And that's okay, but you guys have to learn, right? So if you're a wholesaler worm, you're trading with billions of dollars and you're making the spread on a tick. And if you run 1,000 contracts through a $12 tick, that's 12 grand. You don't have the ability to do that kind of business, so the business is limited for you at this time. Get it? Not always, Jiraj. Don't, Jiraj, this whole responsive initiative buying thing, just ignore it. It's not important. No, 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 it's okay. It's okay to ask questions. Don't worry. But it's not important. It makes no difference. It's an old concept where they would try and figure out whether an institution was buying size or whether it's a short seller that's buying. In this market, most of the time it's a short seller that's buying. They're always the first to the bid. Yeah. So, yeah, it's really, really like, most people will open up the chart, look at this and go, oh, day off. Or, if you're in the States and you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you should go to sleep, right? If you're in the UK and you're up, just go about your day, come back later on, you know? Yeah, we've got a gap. So nobody wants to buy a gap, and smart people don't want to short a gap until they see a seller. Right now, I don't see a seller. The last 2 weeks of the year are the worst years to try and trade. Hey, Badir. Yeah, the last 2 weeks of the year are the worst years. You know why? Because it brings in desperation. People are trying to pay for Christmas. They're trying to make money that they didn't make all year. They push it. They don't understand that the market is not there for you to push it, and they lose money. So when you look at a chart, right, you're looking at a candle chart, and you see this, right? You see stuff like this. That's not tradable, right? You don't know when it's going to do this. And now it's going to do this up here. You see? This is the accumulation. This is distribution. So kind of hard to trade that. It's 3 o'clock in the morning in New York pre-holiday, right? So this is old business, wholesalers, someone who's short from Friday wakes up at 2 in the morning and goes, oh, crap, and tries to cover, that kind of thing. Now, of course, you're going to get crazy people who are in there trying to trade it and make a buck, and that's okay because, well, the market needs food, right? The market needs people to lose money. So if you are in a generous mood, go ahead and sit in a trade for 3 hours, right? Hey, Archimedes, Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's pretty chill. You guys should be thinking about relaxing. Does that make sense? Harris, you still there? Do you understand what I'm trying to convey to you guys? Sometimes business is good, sometimes there is no business. And that's how business works. It's not a casino where the blackjack game is the same every day. Do you guys get it? It's not a casino, so it's not the same thing every day. You just can't go in there, put in a quarter, and hope to make money, right? It's a business, and sometimes business is slow. Longer time frames, we'll go through that. There is inventory above us. That's why it's not ripping right now, right? We've got all of this inventory above us, and we're just stuck right in it. There you go, Harris. You're learning. You're learning, right? You're learning. That is, I wish I knew that the answer to that question, Jiraj. How long into January will it go back to normal? I don't know. I hope fairly quick. Lately, this market has been. I told you guys that after Labor Day things would change, and it has. And this market has changed significantly from the following years in the way it trades, right? And it's been a very, very difficult market for retail traders this year, especially the last 6 months have not been easy, right? There has been opportunity, but you have to really, really wait for your trade. And it's, you know, if you're trading at the wrong time, if you're over trading, oh, it's going to eat you alive. Dan, what you got to do is, well, right now, sometimes they're even so slow that even watching them, well, you can watch them, right? You can always watch. But so right here, right, you see how we have distribution, right? And the offer is moving higher. So, you can watch and see if it offers over 69.12. That means they've seen buyers at 11 and 10 and they're going to raise price. What we're going to do is we're going to wait until London opens here in another couple of minutes, 3 minutes. After it opens up, if there's no movement at all, we'll shut down the stream and let you guys go and enjoy your day. How do I recommend looking at charts on replay? Have you watched my videos, Harris? I've done some pretty in-depth videos on how to do it step by step and what to look for. Have you watched those videos? Yeah, that would be a good thing to do. I'd recommend that you watch that stuff, right? So, Shrink on the guy on YouTube, I'd really, not to be a salesman, but I would say it would be a good thing to join the room, um, our trading room at Trading Syndicate. You will have tons of videos on how to do that. I go into it in depth. Um, right? You can see that there's a seller before 12, right? You guys see that? That's the kind of things that you're going to be looking at. See, there's 69.12 here, and there's a seller here, and a seller here. Does that make sense? So if you were replaying the chart, right, you would draw a line, and you would know that there's a seller there, right? How do you use that? If you were long 10, you know that the seller at 8 and 11 and 3/4. Does that make sense? You got to watch the videos, Harris. I know you don't have a lot of time. Yeah, good, good. London's opening. Let's see if London can get down underneath 9 1/4. Right? London usually likes to correct inventory lower. So say you were short. If you knew that there was a seller at 11 and 3/4 and you shorted 11, you'd have your stop at 12, and then you'd be putting your buy orders down here at 8, 8.5. Do you guys understand that trade? Yep. Cool. Hey, Dave. How you doing? Now, if you couldn't buy anything back at 8 and the market got over 9 1/4, you'd close the trade. Make sense? On a scalp. So what we're going to do now, Harris and Jiraj and everybody else, is we're going to try and take that point of control where 70% of the inventory is priced, and we're going to try and sell it up here. Okay? And you're going to use responsive buying from the short sellers who are responsively buying at 8.5 to hold the market up while you sell this here. Does the bid hold, Jiraj? My thought process is the bid's still there. Right? Is the bid still there? So if I'm shorting, you short down to where the bid is. If the bid's still there, that's where you cover. If you're going long, you buy where the bid is, you put your stop underneath the bid, and you sell into strength. It's really simple, man. Right? So it's a new week for you, right? Don't get lost in the weeds again. Stay just remember what I taught you and just do that over and over and over again. Don't start overthinking this stuff. The moment you start overthinking this stuff, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, okay? It's really simple. You buy where they're buying, you sell before they start to sell, right? That is trading. There's really nothing else to it. You can overcomplicate it so much, but honestly, why bother? Some people, right, they're like, okay, they'll just do it, right? And then some people will start overthinking it and overthinking it and overthinking it, and they'll start taking trades and going, well, and then they'll start looking at everything else, right? Yeah, and we keep having this conversation, so you have to fix that now, right? You get distracted very easily, right? So Everything is really simple. So look below and fail. That's a long trade. Your stop is here. You're long here. You sell there. Right? You just did a rotation. Right? You rotated down and then you rotated back up once you found the buyers. Now the people who shorted this and didn't cover here where I told you to, they're helping push price higher. Yeah, you're just starting out, Harris. You have to and check your message. I sent you a message on DM. You just need to spend more time watching the materials and then asking me questions about the materials that you've watched. I can tell by your questions that you haven't watched the materials, right? Let's see how much extension we get. Yeah, you really have to, if you want to be successful at this, you have to focus on what's important. So if the market retraced, where would it retrace to? The low of this half-hour bar here. That's where the bids would be. That's where you'd be looking for bids. And you notice that we had a run over 12, but there's no follow through, right? So unless your timing is 100% perfect, you're probably going to get stopped out a lot trading this. You're better off saving your money for a better time of trading. Yeah, it's frustrating for people who try to make money before Christmas. I get it. I've been there, right? You know, you're trying to make some money. Christmas is expensive, right? But don't try and make money from the market before Christmas. It will really, really put you in a bad mental state. Desperation is a horrible mental state for traders. Desperation is really, really horrible. You will get punished severely. Yeah, exactly. Hope is not a great business plan, right? Fear and hope are not great business plans. Hey, Lonigan, how you doing? How's Barcelona? Hmm. Any other questions? We'll let you folks go a little early today. I'll be probably doing, like tomorrow, I'll do a half-hour session. Wednesday, I don't think I'll be doing a session on Wednesday. Wednesday, you guys remember it's an early close on Wednesday, right? You guys remember that? Thursday, the markets are closed. Wednesday is an early close. So I will do a session tomorrow for Globex, and that'll probably be the last Globex session for the week. I may run one on Friday, but if it's really slow like this, it'll just be a check-in. So what you guys will do, and this is holiday trading. Get used to it, right? So we'll just do a check-in. Is it worth trading? If it's worth trading, if we've got nice big ranges, I'll stay on for the full hour. I don't mind. But if it's like this, like, what's the point? I'm sure you'd rather be spending time with your families. Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, trading at this time is pretty brutal. Hey, front runner, good to see you. Have a great Christmas if I don't see you. Thanks everyone for joining me. We won't torture you any longer with this price action. Have a wonderful morning. We'll see the rest of you in RTH. Hopefully RTH is a little better. Thank you everyone. Have a great morning and we'll see you in a few hours. Bye for now.